Good morning. Oh, I think we've got frozen veins here. Let's try this again. Good morning. That sounds more like the crowd that I know here at the Unitarian Universalist Society in Bangor. My name is Reverend Drew. I use he, him pronouns, and it is so wonderful to have you joining us here, whether you are in the sanctuary or whether you are joining us today online. We want to offer a special hearty welcome to anybody who is joining us today for the first time. If you are a visitor and you're here in the sanctuary, we'll give you a chance to introduce yourself after the announcements. This is a volunteer thing only. You are not required to do this, but if you feel like standing up and saying your name, we'd love to be able to give you a more formal welcome. We'd also like to invite you to join us for coffee hour after the service. For those who are online, I have a couple little things I want to share. First of all, we encourage you to hang out after the service for about 10 minutes for a virtual coffee hour, a chance to kind of greet your neighbors and say hi. After the service is over, you can just unmute yourself and start the discussion. And you may or may not have noticed, thanks to your feedback in the email that we sent out, there is also a order of service, a PDF that you can pull up if that helps you follow along with the service and know what's coming next. We try to accommodate people as much as we can. So with that all said, I'm glad that you're all here, and I'm going to invite Sue to come forward and offer our morning announcements.
Good morning. So, one of the key announcements this morning is that the worship lab will not be in the sanctuary. It'll be down in Drew's office. So for those of you who are interested in having conversation with Drew about possible topics for services in the future, that type of thing, please join him. What time would you like them down there, Drew? At 11:30. That would be grand. Justice Now is meeting in the community cafe, which, if you're not familiar, is down the stairs. Head towards the SE wing, which is that way, and it's the room at the end of the hall on the right. And let's see, they're going to be talking about the Maine Equal Rights Act. We have the mitten tree. The mitten tree is filling up, but there is still room. We're collecting items for donation to Partners for Peace, and they're looking for hats, gloves, mittens, and scarves for women and children. And just put on your calendar, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. celebration will be January 19th at the First Methodist Church. It's in your program. Thank you. Oh, by the way, the auction was last night. We exceeded our goal. Everybody had a great time. Like 22 people got baskets. It was wonderful.
So now is the time, if you are visiting and you'd like to introduce yourself, you can do so. If you just raise your hand. Where's John? John is running across the front here to grab the microphone to bring it to you so you don't have to go anywhere. Do we have any visitors in the house who wish to introduce themselves?
Hi, good morning. How you all doing? I'm Christopher, United States Army veteran. I came here to be with my family, Christina, Kaisik, and Michelle. I drove all the way from Illinois to come here, be with them for the holidays. So my gift to them is me being here. It's very nice to be here and nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Welcome. Anyone else? No? Okay. So before we get started, just have a question. Are people warm enough? I'm feeling a little cold, a little chilly. Glenn, are you able to just bop the thing up a notch or two? It's always good to be comfortable. And I know those pews are a little cold, especially when you first sit in them. Okay. So I'm going to invite you all now to just take a moment to come into the space that you're in, whether it's in the sanctuary or the comfort of your own home or wherever you're zooming in from. And just take a moment to notice the atmosphere around you, the sounds, the movement, the temperature. Just ground yourself in whatever place you are and know that you are welcome here, just as you are.
Lighting our chalice and Advent wreath will be Dave Patterson. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together. Blessed be.
This Sunday is the third Sunday in Advent, and in honor of Advent, we are lighting our Advent wreath. Whether you subscribe to the ancient roots of lighting candles to support the sun's return, or you embrace the tradition from our Christian roots of the waiting of Advent, the waiting for the birth of Jesus. So far this year, we have lit candles for peace and hope. Today, we light a candle for joy, the quality and emotion evoked by the sense of well-being, success, good fortune, or prospect of possessing what one desires. The great Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh once observed about joy, "We will be more successful in all of our endeavors if we can let go of running all the time and take little pauses to relax and recenter ourselves. And we'll also have a lot more joy in living as a result." During this holiday season, let us take little pauses to recenter ourselves and remind ourselves not of what we don't have, but of all the beauty, the abundance, and the love that we do have, even in the most difficult times. For what we seek is what we will find. I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit to sing our opening hymn. We Three Kings will be singing the first and the fourth verses only. I'd like to invite our young people of any age to come forward for our story today. The story we have is a kind of a special video. I like telling stories, but this was a story that I felt was probably better told by the video. So come on down and we'll have a little chit-chat afterwards.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Caitlin Curtis, and I am so excited to share with you my first children's book, Winter's Gifts, an Indigenous celebration of nature. A note to the reader. This story is about a girl named Donnie. Donnie is the Potawatomi word used to describe affection toward a beloved or special daughter. So Donnie represents not just the special love we share with our human families, but also our special status as the beloved children of Creator and of Earth, who is made by Creator to be our mother. I hope you enjoy getting to know Donnie in these pages. Winter's Gifts, written by Caitlin B. Curtis, illustrated by Gloria Felix. Donnie touches a frost-covered branch on the oak tree in her yard. She shivers. Winter, or Babon, is coming in a few days. Her family will light a fire or skode and think about the darkest night of the year. Many of her friends are afraid of the dark, but not Donnie. The dark feels like a hug, and winter is a time for cozy hugs. The dark of winter reminds us to rest. Even the bears rest in winter. Inside, the wood stove glows. Donnie cuddles up next to her brother Bo and their dog Sam. She thinks about hugs and good dogs and what it means to wait. The next day, there is more snow on the ground. After school, Donnie comes home and makes snowballs to throw at her brother. By dinner time, it is already dark. How long does the darkness last? Donnie asks her parents. Her dad answers, the dark will be here for a while, but when the sun's birthday, the winter solstice comes, the days slowly get longer again. That is one of winter's gifts. Donnie thinks about the gifts of winter. They are different from the gifts that come during the holidays. Winter's gifts are telling stories and waiting. Another gift of winter is resting, like the bears. After we rest for a while, the sun brings back the grass, the flowers, and the leaves on the trees. Donnie remembers that Creator made the sun, or Jesus, to be our grandfather, and the moon, or Debuk Jesus, to be our grandmother. They work together like partners to help us understand Earth and the seasons. Donnie knows that Earth is very special. Creator gave her to us to be our mother and to provide us with the things we need to live. On the first day of winter, Donnie wakes up excited. At school, Donnie and her classmates study the moon's phases. Donnie loves Grandmother Moon and is grateful for Creator's gifts of darkness and light. That evening, Donnie and her family light candles to honor the beginning of winter, the sun's birthday. They eat lots of food and talk about why they love Mother Earth, or Sugamakwe, and Creator so much. They also talk about their ancestors who celebrated the changing seasons. The next day at school, Donnie tells her friends about her winter celebration. They laugh and say that it's strange to celebrate the earth. Donnie tells them about the gifts of rest and waiting. They say, the earth doesn't give us gifts. Donnie walks away, confused. At home, Donnie sits beneath her favorite oak tree where she built a fort. She talks to the trees and touches the snow. She thanks them for their gifts and hopes that one day her friends will understand. That night, Donnie tells her parents how sad she is that her friends don't believe in Mother Earth's gifts. Her mom says, sometimes we forget that we are all friends with Earth and every living creature. The winter teaches us to rest, to remember, and to be thankful. Your thankfulness is your gift to Mother Earth, Donnie. That night, she dreams she is gathered with her friends in a big circle around a giant tree, linking arms and singing. As they sing, the animals come to join them. They sing to Grandfather Sun until he sets, and they sing as Grandmother Moon dances into the sky. The next morning, Donnie thanks Creator for the dream, whispering, Miigwech shmamogosnan. She gets dressed and runs outside to her favorite oak tree. Leaves dance in the wind and snow falls off the branches onto her head. Donnie laughs. Her friends from school come and ask if she'd like to go sledding with them. Afterward, they come back to Donnie's house for hot cocoa. Donnie can't decide if she should show them her tree. Will they laugh? Then she remembers what her parents told her. She is proud to be friends with Mother Earth. Would you like to see my favorite tree? She asks them. Her friends follow her outside. How did you build this fort? They ask. This tree is amazing, they say. Donnie wonders if she should tell them about her dream. She is nervous, but she remembers what it felt like to sing with all her friends and the animals. She takes a deep breath. A few of her friends giggle and say they need to go home, but two of her friends ask to hear the song from the dream. Donnie closes her eyes and begins to sing. As she finishes her song, it begins to snow. They all run back inside for another cup of cocoa. Tell us about winter's gifts, Donnie's friends say. Donnie tells them about waiting for spring, about Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, and about rest. Her friends smile. Donnie smiles too. Thank you so much for listening. As I read Winter's Gifts, I hope that you loved listening as much as I loved writing this book for all of you.
Okay. So did you like the book? Do you like that? Yeah. And I kind of like this because I think at this time of year when we have the seasons change and we have all these different weather changes and things like that. How many people like winter? How many people, not so sure? Oh, wow, we got a lot of winter lovers here, but a few maybe not so much. But I think sometimes when things change rapidly like that, we wonder, we kind of like, oh, do I have to put my snowsuit on? Do I have put my jacket, my gloves, my boots, and all that kind of stuff? It's just really, really, really difficult. And the thing that helps us, we're talking about this month about the idea of presence or being present in the moment, being able to experience things just as they are, not just with the way that we react with our emotions, but just being able to see the world in its totality at one time. And so one of the things that's really helpful sometimes when we're going through changes is being able to say, oh, it's not always going to be like this, but also look to the world around us to see the gifts that the world provides us, like snow that you can play in and make a snowball and throw at your brother. He's a snowball fan here. Or make a snowman or snow angels, or be able to sit by a tree and listen to it creaking as it gets blown by the wind, a frozen tree. So there's all kinds of wonderful gifts that are around us. And I would say, you might not realize it, but especially at the holiday season, but I think all the time, you are gifts to all of us, because we love to see you enjoying the holidays and getting involved in all the things that we're doing. Parents, can I get an amen? Everyone else, can I get an amen? You are a real gift to us, and we're present. And sometimes, maybe there's something that happened and there's a little excitement or a little yelling or a little uncomfortableness for a moment. But that doesn't remove the fact that you're a gift and that you're loved and that you belong to all of us and that we're all connected to each other. So that is my message this morning. And we'll now serenade you or sing you down to your SE programs. Thank you. And finally, I light one last candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain within the deep recesses of our hearts and those that are ever present just below the surface. May they find hope, love, and connection, and may they find a non-violent release. Dear friends, please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Great universal Spirit, interconnected web of which we are a part, we gather in this time and space to hold up the experiences of joy and sorrow in our lives in a way that we can share it with this beloved community, and in so magnify our joy and find the support that we need in our sorrows. Today we remember loved ones, good friends who have passed in the last week. We hold in our hearts people who have had falls and are struggling with illness. May they find the support that they need to be able to heal. And we also offer prayers for those who are getting ready to have surgeries coming this week. May everything go smoothly. We also hold in our hearts the joys of being able to howl like a wolf, to be able to travel and reconnect with loved ones, for people who are joining their lives together in marriage at the last minute, kind of a impromptu kind of thing, and for being able to travel to visit loved ones and amazing UU children who seek out churches for their mother to be able to go to a service on Christmas Eve. Spirit, we gather in this time and place on Sunday mornings because we know that each life tells an important story and each life holds a deep and abiding truth, and that by coming together and sharing these joys and sorrows with each other, we grow closer to each other, and we grow closer to becoming one. Blessed be. Amen.
It's now the time in our service where we open our hearts and give as we can to the work of this church, and also a plate sharing for this month with the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter.
I now invite you to rise if you feel so comfortable doing it. It is with gratitude that we receive this morning's offering to support the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter and this beloved community. Thank you for your generosity.
Our reading this morning is entitled Winter Solstice by Rebecca Ann Parker. Perhaps for a moment the typewriters will stop clicking, the wheels stop rolling, the computers desist from printing, and the hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard as Earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter Earth's access toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos unfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace, rocked by the holy night, babes of the universe. Let this be the time we wake to life, like the spring wakes in a moment of winter solstice. Blessed be.
Wow, that was pretty dynamic. Oh. That very soft finish. Is that off? We're getting a lot of hum. Yeah. Maybe bring me down just a little bit. There we go. So, here we are in the midst of the third week of Advent, almost halfway through the holiday season, though it feels like a lot of the holidays are kind of at the end of the month this year. There is a mixture of joy and stress in the air as people hustle and bustle around, trying to make merry and chase away the late fall and the early winter blues. As we prepare for our holidays' festivities, it is easy to become scattered and distracted. So many extra things to think about, so many plans, so much effort that goes into making this season bright. We put so much energy in remembering all the little details that often we become fatigued, frantic, and focused on what the needs of doing are that we forget to attend to ourselves. I love our story of winter's gifts because it reminds us about the gifts of the natural world. The story reminds us to take pause, to take long winter naps, to snuggle, connect with a tree, make a snowball, or play in the snow. All those gifts are there, but they're not wrapped and they're not ribboned. They're just there, waiting for our attention. If we are able to let go of the hustle and bustle and accept the wisdom of Mother Earth, Father Sky, and the multi-spirited beings in between. The interesting thing about this time of year that is as the days grow short and the nights grow long, there is something about our human condition that dreads the extra darkness because we have fewer hours of light, which forces us to be present to the things within that we cannot experience with the distraction of light. Sometimes this is pleasant, and sometimes it fills us with dread as we wonder what emotions or feelings lie in the corners and the shadows of our being. Historically, the winter holiday season is one of feasting and merriment because it is a time of the year when the earth is fallow, that nothing can be harvested, nothing can be planted in the northern climates. And so this time of year when people had, this is the time of year when people had free and unstructured time. It is a time of year when diets used to change drastically for our ancestors, from a very limited diet of animal protein to a much larger diet of animal protein because the slaughtered meat could be preserved in the cold. There was also a time when ciders and brew that were made early in the harvest season had fully fermented, and so there was a lot of excess that took place in traditions like wassailing and binge eating. Just like today, people need time to blow off steam. And yet, in all of our ingenuity and ability to create artificial light, we seem to defy that natural order of the season and instead of found joy in the commercial spirit of the season, trying to outdo our neighbors with decorations and presents. There is a little slowing down at the workplace. There's little slowing down at the workplace. So all of the additional activities and efforts to be joyful demand more of us in this holiday season, and that's where stress often creeps in. If the days did not grow shorter, I think we would still need to create an artificial darkness or blackout time to allow us to take a break from all of our doings and allow space to be present to our beings. One of the reasons that Christians, as they were canonizing their religion about Jesus, moved the tradition of Jesus' birth, which is actually believed to happen sometime in the spring, to this time of year, because they recognized the power of ancient people's stories and rituals they also recognize that this time of year people had a little bit more time to rethink and to reflect and to be present to the spirit of darkness and the joy in the coming of the light. In those times when the sun went down, people were left to their thoughts for longer periods of time without the convenience of artificial light. It also brought them more together. For instead of being out in the fields for long, long days, they gathered by the hearthstone and recalled and remembered and had time to be present to their hopes and their dreams. The winter holidays of Christmas, Hanukkah, solstice, Kwanzaa, and Yule are not about decorations or trees or candles. These holidays are about doing things with the ones that you love. They are about being present to the values that we hold dear and the stories that we continue to tell that get to the heart of our human understanding of what it means to be alive. Solstice, that reminds us of our interconnection to the natural world, and that we are not rulers over the sun or the seasons, but part of a greater living force that needs our attention and needs our respect. It is a celebration that also reminds us of the contrasts in our lives, of the need for action and rest and balance and of care, that change is always inevitable. Christmas reminds us of the miracle of birth and being alive. That greatness can come from humble beginnings, and that we all have a role to play in sustaining life. We all have something to give, from mothers to angels to shepherds to innkeepers to spirit and animals. Hanukkah, the holiday that speaks to us about overcoming our fears even when the odds are stacked against us, and that miracles can happen when we take action and do what needs to be done, and that freedom and justice are worth engaging in a struggle for. Kwanzaa is a celebration that reminds us to embrace our ancestral roots, a holiday that reminds us of where we came from, what our ancestors endured and struggled for, so that we might have lives that we have now. And finally, Yule, the celebration of the return of the light and hope and embrace the possibility for the future. All of these winter holiday celebrations lie at the heart of some of the things of utmost importance in our lives, which is why they have not disappeared over time, but instead taken on sometimes additional meanings, changing meanings, but those original meanings, I think, are also still very much there and alive. One instance that I thought that was rather interesting is that Christmas, for our earlier colonizing ancestors, was not a holiday. It was just a regular old day of the week. But later on, our Universalist ancestors actually banded with some evangelical folks around the time of the Revolution to actually make Christmas a holiday that you go to church. Can you believe that? And that was around then the beginning, a little bit later on, of the start of the Christmas as we know it, the Dickens Christmas that I preached about last week. All of these holidays remind us that even in our modern world, where we light the skies with artificial light, we need darkness. We need that space of rest, of merrymaking, celebration, and reconnection. In our modern world, we have so many things that allow us to seemingly defy the natural world's order. There are so many things competing for our attention and awareness. I think that it is wise to remember to make room in the hustle and bustle of the season, time to slow down and reconnect with the rhythms of the universe, and raise our awareness to be present to the heart of the matter of these ancient holiday wisdoms, and prioritize giving room in our hearts and minds so that we can get rid or let go of some of the holiday hubbub, hassle, and stress. Remember, the bears in their dens don't care about parties or gift giving or decorating or receiving or throwing the best holiday party. They do care for warmth, for connection, cuddles, and rest. This gets to the heart of the matter. So as we continue through this holiday season, let us make music and be merry, but more importantly, let us celebrate the love that we hold in our hearts as we prepare extra room to find ways to share that love with others, including those we have yet to meet and need our attention, because often they have the most to offer us in return. Blessed be, and may we go and do likewise. I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit to sing our closing song, Winter Celebration, written by our very own Linda Kaler. That song's a keeper. We'll use that one again. As we extinguish our Unitarian Universalist chalice flame, symbol of faith, hope, love, connection, and joy that reigns in our hearts, not just in this season, but all seasons, let us be mindful that although our worship has come to an end, our service to each other and to the world has just begun. I now invite you to join in singing our benediction. Let's go forth into the week ahead, striving to be thankful to our life's journeys, serving the needs of the earth and its inhabitants, sharing in the spirit of love in all we say and do, sharing in the spirit of love in all we say and do, sharing in the spirit of love in all we say and do. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed, blessed be. We would take a moment to turn and face the camera and wave hi to all of our folks who joined us on Zoom today, and hope you have a good coffee chat.